Ever feel like some ancient wisdom is locked away, just, beyond your grasp? Like,
Hmm.
there's something really profound there, but maybe the key to unlocking it is missing.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Well, today we're not just looking for the key, we're actually going to try and understand the structure of the lock itself.
Precisely. We're taking a deep dive into a text that's really renowned for its profound insights. The Linea Sutu Yutru. Most people know it as the Diamond Sutra.
Right.
But instead of trying to tackle the whole thing right away, we're going to do something maybe more foundational, understand its title, the name itself.
Okay, so it's like getting the blueprint before we even think about the building. And we'll be drawing on commentary from Layman Jiang Weinong, explained by Venerable Master Jing Kong, to help us break it down.
That's the plan.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward, but hopefully powerful to really grasp the meaning and the significance packed into every character of the sutra's title.
And in doing that, we hope to give you a really solid starting point for looking into the sutra's deeper teachings later on. We'll focus on the specific title, Jada Di Win Ti, and then the general title, U.
Okay, let's get into it. So the first part of that specific title is Shinavem Gongam. Now, this isn't just a label, is it? It's acting as a metaphor.
That's right.
But what's the literal meaning?
Literally, Shin refers to Shingon, which means a material name, the very essence of gold. Imagine refining gold down to its absolute, purest, strongest form. That's the idea.
The best of the best gold. And it's not just valuable, it's known for being incredibly tough. I remember reading it's described as Shingunggong.
Exactly.
The hardest, the sharpest, it can destroy all things, but nothing can destroy it. That's quite something.
It really is. It speaks to this unparalleled strength and resilience. Think about other materials, how easily they might get damaged or broken. But a diamond, well, its reputation for withstanding anything and for cutting through anything is legendary.
The ultimate survivor material.
You could say that, yeah, but maybe with a bit more philosophical weight.
Huh. Okay. But here's where it gets even more interesting for me. It's not just about being indestructible. The commentary also mentions this other quality.
Yes.
The light of the diamond treasure can illuminate for tens of miles. That has a whole different dimension, doesn't it?
It really does. That brilliance signifies a penetrating quality,
Mm-hmm.
a capacity to reveal what's hidden, to cut through darkness, essentially.
Wow.
And it's also mentioned that such a treasure becoming, readily available is rare these days. It's linked to this idea of diminished collective merit.
Huh. Like the state of the world affects what becomes manifest.
It's a thought-provoking connection, definitely, between our kind of collective state and the appearance of these extraordinary things.
Okay, but let's bring this back. This diamond, it's not just about a tough, shiny rock, right? It's pointing towards a metaphor for prajna wisdom.
Precisely. The characteristics of the diamond, its hardness, its sharpness, its brilliant light, they're all symbolic of the qualities of this prajna wisdom.
Okay, so how do those properties connect? How does a hard, sharp, bright diamond relate to wisdom?
Well, think about it this way. Just as a diamond dent, it can destroy heavy obstacles of affliction. Prajna wisdom cuts through our deep-seated mental and emotional blockages.
Right, the things that hold us back.
Exactly. Its sharpness represents the incisive power of true insight, the ability to see things with absolute clarity, cutting through confusion.
Makes sense. Like a mental scalpel. And the other properties, the hardness and the light.
Well, the hardness, the firmness a day, points to the unwavering, indestructible nature of true wisdom. It doesn't get corrupted or changed by circumstances.
Okay.
And the diamond's ability to thoroughly see through all illusions of ordinary feelings and thoughts, and to illuminate and shatter ignorance that connects directly to its brilliant light. It's lucha.
Ah, so the light dispels darkness.
Right. Prajna wisdom reveals the true nature of reality. It dispels the darkness of misunderstanding, illusion. It lets us see beyond just surface appearances.
So to quickly recap Kungong, the diamond aspect, its firmness shows wisdom's stability. Its sharpness is its power to cut through delusion. And its brightness symbolizes its ability to illuminate truth and banish ignorance.
You've got it, a three-part metaphor for the power of prajna.
Okay, great. So now we move to the second part. Whatcha? This word comes up a lot in Buddhism.
It does. It's central.
And I know it's a transliteration from Sanskrit, but why keep the Sanskrit sound? Why not just translate it?
Good question. The commentary mentions bocha basically, respecting and not translating.
Respecting, not translating.
Yeah. The idea is that some terms, like prajna, carry such profound depth and nuance that any single translation might flatten it, lose some essential meaning. There's also a sense of reverence, for the original language of the teachings.
Okay, that makes sense. So we stick with E, but what does it actually mean? What's the core idea?
Its fundamental meaning is E,
Okay.
which means the inherent true wisdom of one's own nature. It's often described as the Buddha's knowledge and views. Crucially, it's not something you get from outside. It's the innate, pure, awakened intelligence that's already within all of us.
So it's like we all have this incredible wisdom, but it's maybe covered up or dormant.
Exactly. Covered by afflictions, ignorance, and so on. And this prajna, this wisdom, has two key aspects we should probably touch on. An essence, or fundamental nature, and a function, or how it actually works.
Okay, let's unpack those. What's the essence?
So, Eli, in terms of its essence, it's called awakened nature. This is also known as Jidiri, true reality prajna.
True reality prajna.
Think of it as the ultimate unchanging ground of being. The fundamental nature of reality itself, which exists beyond all our fleeting thoughts, perceptions, illusions. The bedrock.
The deep, quiet truth underneath everything. Okay. And the E. How does this prajna act in the world?
Right. The function. In terms of function, it's called true wisdom, which is contemplative prajna.
Contemplative prajna.
This is the active expression of that inherent wisdom. It's the ability to perceive reality clearly, directly, seeing things exactly as they are, without the distortions of our usual projections and biases.
So it sounds like the potential and then the actual seeing, like the capacity and the action.
Exactly. The commentary emphasizes essence and function are one and the same. They aren't really separate.
Okay, how so?
Think of a perfectly clear, clean mirror. That's the essence, its function, its A, is to reflect things accurately, just as they are.
Right.
The clarity of the reflection, the function, depends entirely on the inherent purity and clarity of the mirror itself, the essence. They're inseparable. In the same way, contemplative prajna's clear seeing arises directly from the fundamental purity of true reality prajna.
That's a really helpful analogy. The mirror. Okay. Now, the commentary also mentions textual prajna. Where does that fit in?
Ah, yes. Textual prajna.
So Buddha explaining things.
Right. When the Buddha explains the great vehicle teachings for everyone, helping them to awaken and enter the path, the words, the explanations, the recorded teachings, like this Diamond Sutra itself, that's textual prajna.
So the scriptures themselves are a form of prajna.
In a way, yes. They serve as the guide, the map, pointing us towards understanding and ultimately realizing our own inherent prajna, the true reality and contemplative aspects within us.
The words guide us to the wisdom that's already there. Got it. And it mentions briefly how these three, true reality, contemplative, and textual prajna, relate.
Yes, just touches on it.
Sure.
One yet three yet one.
Meaning they're all interconnected.
Deeply interconnected, inseparable. Different facets of the same fundamental wisdom all working together. Use the textual prajna, the map, to activate the contemplative prajna, the seeing, to realize the true reality prajna, the ultimate nature.
Okay, that clarifies the prajna part. Now, the final piece of the specific title, Atalaumi, another Sanskrit word.
Yes, paramita in Sanskrit.
And this one means heat to reach the other shore, but wasn't there a little note about word order?
There was, yeah. Just a grammatical point.
Mm-hmm.
In Sanskrit, the substructure is other shore, reach, eat. But in Chinese, you didn't naturally say reach the other shore.
So just a language difference.
Exactly. The meaning is the same.
Yeah.
The key idea is this reaching, this arrival at the other shore.
Okay, so what is this other shore we're trying to reach?
The commentary explains it beautifully. Weji, leaving something, crossing something, reaching something.
Precisely. Leaving this shore of birth and death, samsara, crossing the turbulent river of afflictions, glacius, and finally reaching the other shore of nirvana. It's a powerful metaphor for the whole journey of liberation.
Okay, nirvana. Nubana, that's the Sanskrit for not being born and not dying. Something like that.
Yes. Not born, not dying. It's also often translated as perfect tranquility or perfect cessation.
But it's really important to understand this isn't just like blinking out of existence, right?
Absolutely not. That's a common misunderstanding. Nirvana isn't annihilation. It's the cessation of the cycle of suffering, the cycle of involuntary birth and death. It happens through extinguishing delusions, afflictions, ignorance. It's a state where the mind achieves true peace, stillness, clarity, unmoving.
So it's about transforming consciousness, escaping that cycle, not just physical death. Exactly. It's liberation from the causes of suffering. And paramita, or samnukke, carries even more meaning.
Oh.
Yeah, the commentary notes, semwino. It also means things like reaching home, ultimate attainment, complete perfection or fulfillment.
Wow, so it's not just arriving, it's like arriving perfectly, reaching the ultimate goal.
It signifies the full realization of one's spiritual potential, complete mastery.
Reaching home, ultimate perfection. That sounds pretty good. Okay, now, before we get to the last character, the general title, the commentary brings up something about two types of birth and death. That sounds kind of heavy.
It's a core Buddhist concept for understanding samsara, the cycle we're trying to leave. The first type is called Fen Duan Shang's, segmented birth and death.
Segmented, like in pieces.
Sort of. This is what we usually think of as life and death. The obvious cycle. You're born, you grow old, you get sick, you die, maybe you're reborn. Distinct stages, segments. The commentary says this is derrière us, caused by the afflictions related to our views, wrong ideas about reality, and thoughts, desires, aversions. These are the coarser, more obvious forms of delusion that keep us trapped in these distinct life and death cycles within the different realms of existence.
Okay, so the big noticeable changes in our existence. What's the other kind?
The other is more subtle. It's Bianyi Xing's, variational birth and death.
Variational, like changing moment to moment.
Exactly. This is a continuous, subtle process of change. It's described as tining, caused by ignorance that's as vast and fine as dust particles.
Wow. Dust particle ignorance.
Yeah, these are the much finer levels of ignorance, subtle attachments, latent tendencies. They cause constant tiny shifts in our mental states moment by moment. Our mind dies from one state and is born into the next. From delusion to slight clarity, back to confusion. Even bodhisattvas, beings far along the path, experience this subtle birth and death as they progressively transform their minds and eliminate these finer obscurations.
Okay, so if segmented birth and death is like turning the pages of a book, variational birth and death is like the flickering of the images on each page, the constant mental shifts.
That's a good way to put it. It's the ceaseless arising and passing away of mental states driven by subtle ignorance. And the commentary concludes that the complete cessation of both types of birth and death.
Segmented and variational.
Right. By eradicating both the coarse afflictions and the fine dust-like ignorance, that state is true. Perfect tranquility. Nirvana.
Okay, that really clarifies the goal of reaching that other shore. Finally, then, we just have the general title, which is just Jiang Sutra.
Yes. Oh, or sutra. This is the standard designation for many Buddhist scriptures. It literally means something like a thread or warp, like in weaving.
A thread.
Yeah, signifying a discourse or teaching that strings together essential principles, often one attributed to the Buddha or perhaps a close disciple, conveying timeless wisdom.
Okay, so let's try and weave that all together then. We started with Jin the diamond.
Representing prajna wisdom unbreakable, sharp enough to cut through anything and brilliant enough to illuminate reality.
Then prajna itself, that inherent true wisdom within us. It has its unchanging essence, the true reality and its active function, the clear seeing of contemplative prajna. And we access it through urshant, the textual guides like this sutra.
Exactly. One yet three, three yet one.
And paramita, the goal. Reaching the other shore of nirvana, perfect tranquility, by crossing the river of afflictions and leaving behind both kinds of birth and death, segmented and variational, achieving ultimate perfection.
Perfect.
And all of this is contained within a sutra, a thread of teaching.
Precisely. So the whole title, Diamond Prajna Paramita Sutra, acts as this incredibly concise yet profound summary of the path. Use diamond-like wisdom prajna to achieve ultimate liberation, paramita. That's the core message right there in the name.
It really is amazing how much is packed into just those characters. Understanding these terms, it really does give you a powerful lens, doesn't it, for approaching the sutra itself, but maybe also just for thinking about our own lives, our own search for wisdom.
It absolutely does. It provides a framework.
Mm.
Maybe it prompts a question for you, for everyone listening. Considering this diamond nature of wisdom as power to cut and illuminate, what obstacles or darkness in your own understanding, your own mind, might it help you to shatter or see through?
Hmm. That's definitely something to think about. What delusions could this diamond wisdom cut through for me? A great place to pause and reflect.